It was October 31st, 2009. I'm with one of my best Canadian friends. He's Andrew. We're in Mexico, in Oaxaca City. And we are there to celebrate my very favorite day, celebration, the Day of the Dead. It was hard for me to convince him to come along because he, as he said, he only travels for adventure and adrenaline. Swimming with sharks? I scuba dive, but I would never do that. Bungee jumping? Are you crazy? Parachuting from an airplane? Oh, come on, that's crazy, and you pay for that? No, I promise we will not do that at all. But I figured something out for you to enjoy. So we are in Oaxaca, enjoying this beautiful city, which I have been many times. This is his first time. And we are enjoying the beauty of the diversity, culture, food, the mountains. It's just gorgeous. And the Day of the Dead is very special in my heart because it's when the living invite, entice, invoke the dead ones through food, drinks, dances, stories, prayers, to come and to enjoy life. And that's why we build these altars with offerings. And better yet, we go to the cemeteries, which is what I really like to do. You partake right there with them. So we were walking in Oaxaca, and I told him, no, today we are not going to do the touristic things. We would do that for later. The Day of the Dead starts tonight, midnight, November 1st. So it lasts a couple days in Mexico. We will do some other things later on. Tonight we are going to the main square. So as we are walking this colonial, beautiful city, we bump into this river of people coming down, following a somber local musician band playing somber funeral music, boom, 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 which made a huge contrast with the joy of the people who was walking around, enjoying, and determined to include us by throwing confetti to us, especially if you are talking or laughing, or smashing eggs with white flour in your head or in your bag. My poor friend Andrew got so many that I wonder, maybe for locals, he was not white enough. When we arrived to the main square, oh my God, there were hundreds and hundreds of people who came down from similar streets, all of them merging in these huge squares. It was just amazing, so busy. It was dark, so you could see the balloons already bright and shiny, and it was just incredible to see all these little stories of people interacting to each other. You saw witches, skeletons, Katrinas, vampires, you name it. Local artists, they created big sculptures coming from their gardens, sculptures of skeletons, devils that came out to grab you. They were beautiful. My friend, it was a little bit, I don't know, overwhelmed perhaps. When he started walking back and he felt something in his back, he turns and he is face to a devil's face, which was part of one of these sculptures. I saw him a little bit overwhelmed, and he started withdrawing. And I asked him, would you like to leave? He nodded, and we left to the next stop, which was the cemetery, of course. So when we got to the cab, I said to the driver, let's go to the San Miguel Cemetery. Opened first 1828. Half a square mile is huge. When we got there, it was exactly what I was expecting. In the entrance, there was a fair with people in rides and games. As you come in, there is a big corridor, and then the graveyard. Left and right, full of tombs, decorated already, some of them, full of candles, others just a cross, and many of them with flowers of intense purple, yellow, and orange, which are the flowers for the season. You see people drinking mezcal or coffee, singing, others just putting a tablecloth, well, a tomb cloth with food on top, and the cokes and the tacos. It was just very festive. But in my experience of those events in other places, I knew that if we walked further, we would see different things, like more novelty and more interesting. So I invited to follow me, so he did. And then I got distracted. I started reading the tombstones. Oh, look at this one, died too old. Look at this one, left with unfinished business. And then as we were going along, I started feeling in my right arm, a weight, that it was heavier and heavier and heavier. And when I turned, it was my friend Andrew, who was visibly scared. I stopped, and then he stops. I take stock, and I look, there is nobody. Everything is silent. There is no light other than the moon. There's nothing in white, no colors, only gray to black. I turn around to look for the path, and there is no path. I look at my watch, and it's midnight. Halloween night, midnight. And we are surrounded with tombs. And nobody, anyone knows we are here. In that very moment, I felt a punch in my stomach. I didn't know. What are we going to do? And then we start hearing a noise that was getting closer and closer. My first thought was, please, God, let them to be dead, please, please, because you can negotiate with ghosts, but not so much with the living ones. So as we couldn't breathe, the pounding was louder and louder, and I checked my pulse, it's not me, I checked his, it's not him. And then we were not breathing. We saw this couple of indigenous people. They were all in white. He was wearing a white attire, pants, long sleeve shirt, big sombrero hat, and she is wearing a shawl wrapping her face, long sleeves, long blouse, a very long skirt. We cannot see their faces. We cannot see their feet. And they were not walking, more like gliding. That punching feeling that I had in my stomach went up to my heart, and I felt hope. The woman left the left hand with very bony long fingers and make the sign to following them. I say to Andrew, let's go, this is what we have to do, let's go. And as I was start running, he couldn't move. So I came back and punched him, and he started running again with me. So we are following this couple, but there is no path. They're going over the tombs, so we cannot do that. So we have to look down and be careful not to step on dead people's homes or fall down, so they are just going so fast, and the pounding goes farther and louder and faster, louder and faster, louder and faster, until it stops. And then we stop, we look up, and there was nobody. We look around, there's no one. I turn, and Andrew were looking at me. And in that very moment, music starts sounding. I asked him, are we dead? And he said, I don't know. At distance, there was a little light. In complete silence, we walked at once to that direction. When we got there, oh my God, it was amazing. It was the corridor to the main entrance of the cemetery. And it was beautiful because dozens and dozens of arches of unmarked tombs were each one of them decorated with little candlelights, with flowers. It was so beautiful and bright, and the copal incense smelled so delightful. It was the corridor went up and then turned, and on your left you have altars full of color, and the graveyard. And then I noticed the music. It was classical music, live classical music. And there were choirs, so I told my friend, let's go. But we cannot go straight. Let's go through the graveyard. And he looked at me and says, really? Yeah, because I want to hear. But this time, okay, you lead. Okay, that was what he did. I was following him. And as we were walking, I saw him stopping. He stopped. And then he couldn't move his right foot. And a voice, he opened his arms for balance, and a voice came and said, where are you going? He clenched his fingers in terror, and the voice said, I'm messing with you. It's me. Come on, you just got your foot stuck. Move on, move. We're going to miss it. We got to the music, and it was the State Symphony Orchestra with choirs and all playing the Requiem of Mozart. It was just unbelievable. We were not able to sit. There was not a chair available. We stand with the people. And that, feeling the music so close, you could feel how it penetrates your body, how it fills you. And I turned right, and I saw mostly indigenous people sitting, holding hands, having their children in their laps. A mother was breastfeeding, a young couple were making out. All of them mesmerized with the music. All of them seated in tombs. I turned and I appreciate that moment of communion of the beauty of music, the living and the dead. And I felt perfection. And with weary eyes, profound love and respect, I turned to my friend and asked him, Andrew, was this enough adrenaline and adventure for you? And he held my hand, taking to his chest and says, yes, that and more. But please, for the rest of the trip, no more, no more. Thank you.